She is possessive. She is pure evil. She is Christine, a 1958 Plymouth Fury, possessed by hell. Her previous owner is not alive to warn her present one.
Killer car movie. Okay, we'll see. All right, so Christine. This film, I heard about this film when I was, I was getting more into Carpenter. Like, I watched the original Halloween, I saw Big Trouble in China, and so I was looking at his back catalog, and then I noticed this film. And so I'm like, okay, like a killer car movie. Like, all right, let's see what it's got. And was pretty entertained by it. Now, this movie is based on Christine by Stephen King, who at the time when he wrote it was, I believe this was during the height of his cocaine addiction. So he was kind of pumping out novels like crazy, where, you'll tell your buddy, like, hey, I just got the new Stephen King book. I got this one. And he's like, but there's another one. Really? But I just got this one off the press. Yeah, I know, there's another one. When it was kind of like that. But the story of this goes, the producer of the film, he did the TV miniseries for Salem's Lot. And King liked it and contacted the producer and said, like, hey, I've got a couple of manuscripts that I haven't published yet. Would you be interested in adapting them? And one of them was Cujo, and the other one was this. So he said, like, yeah, I'll take Christine. And then he wanted John Carpenter to do it. And at the time, Carpenter had just did The Thing, which had bombed, and he got fired from doing Firestarter, which sucks because I kind of want to see his version. But, he wasn't getting anything, so he did Christine as kind of like this is to get my foot back in the door. But it really wasn't until Starman that did that, where he was able to show people, like, oh, he can actually do more stuff besides just like gory who is it films. So this one was kind of like I'm doing this because, my career is kind of at a low point right now, and I'll just take whatever I got. But, for this kind of being almost a paycheck job, he still did a really good job. So this film is about this kid in high school who, is getting bullied. He's getting bullied. He's, can't really stick up for himself. Then he sees the Christine car and buys it, and it starts starts rebuilding it. But then he also has the power to stand up for himself, but he also becomes, like most movies, when you find like something cursed, like a cursed toy or a car or something like that, they become a bit of a jerk, and it's just not a good person. So the car in this is a 58 Plymouth Fury. And unfortunately, they don't make the cars anymore. And what I heard is that there's 2 cars left in existence of exactly like this. And ever since I saw the movie, I'm like, I want that car. Like, I want that car. Even if I have to find like a Plymouth, was it a Belvedere, which they look similar, and just take some stuff out and then just repaint the car. And it's like, there it is. Which, in fact, they did for the film. They only got like a couple of Furies, and they got some Belvederes because they look super similar, and they just like took certain parts off, and then just like, it's Fury. So it's a nice cheat sheet. But this movie, it's rated R because of the language. There's quite a bit of swearing. So if you have if you're super like sensitive over language and that kind of stuff, yeah, you're not gonna like this. Because the reason for that is because Carpenter's previous film, The Thing, was called for being like horrifically violent and like super gory to the point where people thought that the film was almost like a snuff film. And so he toned down the violence, but they were afraid that the MPAA, which provides ratings for movies in the United States, they were afraid that the film was going to get a PG rating. This was a year before the PG-13 came out. And so they added a ton of swearing to make the film rated R. So if you watch the film and you go like, yeah, this is kind of PG-13 by today's standards, but there's the language in it, that's why. So they were afraid of, people going like, oh, it's the same guy, it's going to be just like super gory. When not really. Not really. I still, this is kind of known to be one of Carpenter's weaker films. I mean, he didn't write it, but it's an adaptation. But I still think he did a really good job. I still, this isn't really a horror film. It's a drama, and it's very, very plotting, and yeah, the kind of transformation that the kid goes through is, you realize like, oh, I now have this like power, and then of course the power goes to their heads, but in the beginning you're like, wow, I've just, that sucks what this kid's going through. And then it's a nice change to see like a protagonist become the antagonist. They're pretty much the protagonist in the first 20 minutes of the film. So you're kind of like, oh wow, this kid's going through, this sucks. And then he then starts slowly turning into the antagonist, and it's a nice thing. It's a nice change where, most of the time, like, people will be the protagonist, and then there's just a sudden shift and they never explain it. This one, it makes sense, so I like that. The acting is really good. It's just, I really like this movie. Despite it being one of Carpenter's weakest, I still think he did a really good job. And the fact that, like I said, it's an adaptation, so he didn't write it, and also it was kind of a paycheck movie. I still, really like the movie, so yeah. Out of the Stephen King library of adaptations, this is, I think, one of the better ones, because, yeah, a lot of them I've just gone, these either suck or they suck. There's only a few in there where I'm like, you know what, that's actually really good. And one of the few adaptations that's actually pretty close to the book. And yeah. And the fact that this was made like right when King was going through his drug problems. And it was like they were able to kind of tone down the drug usage. I mean, like, they said that the ending is different in this film than the book, and I go like, yeah, I kind of think the ending to the book is a little bit silly. But I think with this one it's a little bit more. I think it's a little bit better. I mean, there's all those like what's the difference stuff, and then there's a couple of differences between this and the book, and people said like sometimes it's for the better, and sometimes it's because like, oh well, we can't fit that and it won't work. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy this movie. I really liked Christine the first time I saw it, and like I said, it's one of Carpenter's weakest, but it still gets a grade. I still really like this movie, and yeah, even if I was able to get a Plymouth Fury, it would be named Christine, and I wouldn't care if it was somehow possessed by something. I would still love it, and yeah, I would love it.
No place you can run, and nothing you can do can stop her. Because how do you kill something that can't possibly be alive?